Mark, I will get back. Anybody got the sound then?
Yeah, it's just on your.
Who's talking?
That was the ghost.
I was going to say
It's a new story. It's a new story for you. The mayor's ghost.
Yes, it's something.
It had to be on the colour.
We have got.
Morning, everybody. Item one was the start of the political year. Selection of chair. Are there any nominations? Ruby,
I nominate you, John.
thank you. Does anybody want to second Ruby?
I could second it.
Thank you, Jane. Does anybody else want to nominate anybody else? I'm happy to stand down and let somebody else have a go at this. Anybody wants to? No. Okay, fine. In which case, thank you very much for your confidence and support. I will carry on with
Thank you.
Right, election of vice chair. Nominations for vice chair. It is currently Martin, but we're going to have to make it Martin again. It could be somebody else. Would anybody else like to be vice chair? Basically, stepping in if I can't make it, or other stuff like that. Rapina, you're looking as if you want to say something.
Oh, no, I don't.
All right, okay. I mean, Heather, are you interested at all?
No, I think it's a little early for me.
Okay, all right, just checking.
I've stepped in every time you and Martin haven't been here, so nominate Martin if I.
Would you like to be vice chair?
I nominate Ravina for vice chair.
Yeah, I will second.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, are there any other nominations? No, you're now vice chair. Thank you very much. Okay.
We need to put our hands up to vote on those things. Yeah,
Hands up then.
yeah, we probably better.
Well, there's only one nomination. It's kind of academic, but let's do this.
The chair.
For the chair.
Chair.
For me, for being
Yeah.
chair. Okay, right, fine. And then vice chair. Okay. Okay.
Well done, fine.
Right, okay, apologies for absence.
Apologies.
We have no apologies. Martin, hopefully he's on his way because he has got an item on the agenda. Okay, item 4, declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? It's usually unlikely, but just in case. No, okay. The meeting notes of the previous 2 meetings were circulated previously. Are they accessible as a record of what happened through them? Seem to be okay to me.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we are just agreed. Hands up there, we'll do that.
Agreed, you don't need a proposer on that. No.
No.
Agreed.
I guess I should abstain. I've actually seen them.
Sorry.
Should I abstain in that I haven't actually seen the minutes of previous meetings?
Yeah.
Because I was
But
thinking,
they are
Yeah.
there, but if you weren't at the meetings, check whether the minutes are correct. It's possibly a little bit,
okay, I will
Yeah.
abstain. then.
and me.
Okay, the next item is just to kind of note our terms of reference, which have already been agreed by the full council. There's nothing really for us to do other than note these. Is that okay with everybody? Are they duly noted? Yes, they are. Fine, good. Right, the next item we need to go. So that's correct. That's right, okay. Right, the media policy is the next item. And this was also discussed and raised when it was looked at by previous committee. I forget which one it was now. And
So
go on.
with your permission, Chair, so it was raised at the last full council. Around and
415.
the
415 is what you're looking for.
no, that wasn't what I
Oh, was it? Okay.
So it was raised at the last.
Always, who could actually Be quoted.
Yeah, sorry, have we missed some out on this?
It's under the policy, which is item
Oh, right, okay.
Appendix B,
Okay, sorry, I
and
thought.
it is
I thought-
item 4
Yeah.
5.
Right, so,
415.
previously, whether that was under a different media policy or I don't know whether the media policy has been amended or whether we just weren't enforcing it in the way that it was intended.
More like
That's moot really. Particularly the Town Centre Events Committee, if there was a lead councillor on an event, the lead councillor was often given the opportunity to provide a quote for the press release. Now, this came to be an issue that was highlighted following the food fair this year, whereby I was asked for a quote as the lead councillor on that event, and then it was decided, or it was pointed out that the media policy didn't actually allow that. So I proposed at the last full council meeting, when we looked at the media policy, that we amend that line to allow a committee to appoint a member of that committee to give a quote. Now, this wouldn't alter the fact that it all goes through the office. So the office has the final say in what is actually said in a press release. However, if we're wanting councillors to become more involved in, particularly in events, but in doing things rather than just sitting around this table talking about things, to actually allow some acknowledgement by giving a quote, because if they're the one that's there and they've done work on that event, then that
makes sense.
I feel that they should be allowed to then say how good they thought it was, etc.
Yeah, I think we're all probably in agreement with that.
Yeah, it's fair.
So I looked at this beforehand, and I just wondered whether we should put an amendment in where it says, where possible, press releases will include a quote from the mayor, comma, relevant committee chair, comma, or any closely involved councillor.
I think it needs to be somebody that is nominated by the particular
Committee.
Committee.
I think so, yeah.
To do so.
I think that's going to be difficult.
No, I don't think it is because
Sorry. I think that's going to be difficult because press releases often go out sometimes in between meetings, so we can't convene a meeting just to make that decision. I think we need to establish the principle that a councillor who's closely involved could be the one cited, as it were, rather than it actually have to be a formal decision. Because we do press releases are issued without necessarily going through a council committee. So we need to have the flexibility to be able to do that.
So I think that most press releases are agreed by the committees that there is going to be a press release about a particular topic or a particular event. And the quote can then be sorted out then.
I think it can be, but I don't think it has to be that decision. I think it can be a decision within the gift of the town clerk or the mayor or whatever, and say, oh, don't talk to me, talk to councillor, blah, blah, whatever. I think that's we need some flexibility around this. For media to work, it's going to be light on its feet. Once we start wrapping it up in having to do things via committee decisions, I think we could end up shooting ourselves in the foot, in my view, Jane.
Yes, I'm the events we put on are usually planned a long time in advance, so it would be quite simple for the committee to say, obviously, when any press release comes out, it should be blogs, councillor blogs that makes that comment, Otherwise, you know, the person who is making the comment is rather unprotected. I mean, they've been, you know, batted up in the air and said, you can make a comment, without any reference back to their committee, and they won't be an officer, they won't necessarily be, well, certainly won't be the chair. So I would have thought that as things are planned in advance, it might just be possible, looking at the plan for the year or the plan for the next, you know, committee quarter, to say that it's likely that, you know, this event wouldn't be great if Councillor Mahi, Councillor Davies, Councillor Harvey could make the comment. I don't see.
Except activities aren't always about events. It might be about something else. Ravina.
I agree with the degree of flexibility because not everything works out however you want it. You can plan way in advance, and certain times we've had people who have been lead councillors away on holiday or some, you know, family wedding or another emergency. So I think there should be a small degree of flexibility there. So whoever's leading or heading up, we can always discuss it in meetings beforehand that this person is going to comment, but without the flexibility, then you're kind of stuck.
Yeah, right.
I think there is flexibility because it is still the mayor, the chair of that committee, or a councillor nominated by that committee. I think that gives a good amount of flexibility in there.
Okay, all right. Emma?
Is there a further flexibility to be gained by the chair of the committee could nominate another councillor to be?
We don't give
within
chairs any particular
They don't,
executive
okay.
authority in this council. They're not like cabinet.
or the mayor could? Is that allowed?
Neither the mayor either.
Okay.
It doesn't work like that. Mayors or committee chairs don't have any special authority. They might think they do sometimes, but they don't. A mayor only, the limited role that a mayor has is the mayor can call a meeting with the council. That's about it in terms of actual special.
And 4T for the king, according to the training I did at the weekend. 4T for the king.
Oh, really? That's the other thing.
Only the mayor can do that.
Does that mean?
Only if the
Literally.
king.
See. Sorry.
Okay, Ravina?
Can I just ask, in the scenario that there's media at a certain event by the council and they approach one of the councillors, they are permitted to give a quote?
Yes, I'm not on behalf of the town.
Okay,
council.
yeah.
Oh, that's,
Yeah.
yeah, that comes a bit later.
Yeah,
That's been talked.
that's always the case. So you might see me sometimes on social media.
Yeah.
I will say something and then I'll put in brackets, just not, I'm not a spokesman for the town council. If I ever think there could be some
Yeah,
suggestion or belief that I am in that instance for the quote.
okay, yeah.
Okay, well, so what was you proposing then, Fran?
That a quote will be obtained from the mayor, comma, appropriate committee chair or councillor nominated by that committee.
All right, then we want to second that proposal. Yeah, well, are there any suggestions for? I still want a bit of flexibility in this.
There is flexibility.
Can
in there.
we possibly
But-
say, rather than councillor nominated, can we just say lead councillor for the event? Or
No,
something?
because there are always legal
Okay,
counsel.
that's fine,
Things
yeah,
that the press release is about, that
Yeah.
doesn't involve an event.
okay,
We could put press releases out about other matters too.
okay.
It's likely to be normally to be the mayor or the committee chair, isn't it? It's just, there is a particular issue about the
Particular
lead on
issues,
events.
so,
which-
yeah, when there is a particular event such as bonfire and fireworks, which
Yeah, it should be
Andy
done.
has always been approached about, whether that was in contravention of our policy at the time is probably something which we, well, it is or it isn't, it's happened.
Yeah.
The fact that it's come to light, I think it gives more flexibility by putting it in those terms.
And I would say it's a step in the right direction.
Okay, all right. Let's go and see what happens, I guess. And have any comments from Zoe? You know?
No, we just take them as facts.
Okay, all right, so we've got a motion on the table then to amend it as per what Fran has said. Do you want to read it out again?
Yep, so yours wasn't an amendment, it's not a,
Forget it.
okay, fine. So, proposed by Councillor Davis,
And Mayor.
where possible, press releases will include a quote from the mayor, appropriate committee chair, or councillor nominated by the committee, seconded by Councillor Ahmed.
Okay, all right, well, let's, as I say, let's see how that works out now.
Do we need to show hands?
My little hands are going up again.
Do you look at the meeting plan, yes? Okay,
Better than me.
so, okay, fine, let's move on then, so I think. Are there any other suggestions or changes proposed to the current media policy? No? Okay, right, let's move on from there then. Number 8 then is contact details for Callum Anderson MP. Apparently his office have been in touch and they have requested that we add his contact details to the page 15 of the newsletter. Any views or thoughts about that? Really?
I mean, have we done it for previous MPs?
I don't believe so. No, we have not. No.
But have we been asked to by previous MPs?
Not as far as I'm aware. No.
Where does it fit in page 15?
Well, there's contacts. If you look at, well,
Is it just a list of contacts?
There's a list of contacts, including the Shire Council, including the CAB, including blah 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 blah. We could put it, squeeze it into that list sometimes.
Okay.
And I think we should say the office of the MP, office of Callum Anderson MP, or something like that. So
Yeah.
Or just like our MP for this area, kind of thing?
Yes, we could say that.
Because that leaves it open for future changes, anything, wouldn't it? You know,
Yeah.
our MP for Buckingham. And then details underneath.
Yeah.
Would just be one line, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think, what do you provide, a phone number or a
Email.
There'll be an email
Yeah.
address.
email address?
Yeah,
Okay, agreed?
okay.
Okay, so suitably. Yeah, okay.
I was going to say, don't over egg it too
Yeah.
much, because he is everywhere, and
Yeah.
sometimes you hear, oh, he's here. Are we expecting him to be here? Oh, he's there. Oh, it's very. But obviously, very, very keen and young and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. So I think keep it simple, but pop them in there.
Give him a
Yes.
few years before he becomes cynical. As I say, if you can't get more cynical as you get older, what's the point? Okay, so we'll add that to the list of contacts with an email address for his office. Okay,
Exactly.
good. Do we need to vote on that? Vote. But there we go. Right, good. Right. There we go. Future newsletter. Right. We have these laying out of. I think it more or less you've laid out the 16 pages. And it all adds up. I mean, it seemed fine to me. Any suggestions of change or different things to put in? This is for printing at the end of August and distribution for the end of September. Lots happening as always, particularly in the autumn.
Sorry, just a question. What is ATM? Shortened versions of ATM reports?
Annual town meeting.
Thanks.
Yeah, as opposed to automated television. Yeah. Right.
Can I ask that the committee chairs are named on them this time, because the names were left off the last.
So we discussed this one at the
We did,
last
yeah.
formal, that we would include this as a formal housekeeping item within this particular edition each year. But it's about summarising the year that's just gone, which would include the previous committee chair, which may well have changed. So it's whether we put the name on of the committee chair that was the last.
Oh God, yeah.
Well, it's the one that wrote the report, surely.
So, but we would have to edit the report in order to make it fit within the newsletter. So the reports that go to the ATM, our annual town meeting, can be quite lengthy. and involve glossy photographs and everything else, but we have to obviously summarise it right down to fit within our newsletter article, which we do within the office, maybe with a little help from Copilot.
Yeah.
So strictly, it's not word for word what the previous committee chair said.
Right.
Well, it's not actually capturing what we're delivering within the current council year or written by the current. We can name previous chairs and current committee chairs, or include pictures of them within relevant photographs. But it's not really to be signed off by a particular chair because it's not their words.
And we are chasing word count all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so to add in the names of the chairs for all the committees, we'll add. At
It would be
least
relevant then, wouldn't it?
two of
Because it would be, this is your current committee chair for the current council year.
That makes
We could
sense.
do that.
Yes.
Hang on, so what, hang on, well,
Ah,
I was suggesting we put in the previous committee chairs, but that's not what you heard, so therefore I wasn't very clear. I apologise for that. Is it worth putting in somewhere, is there space in here to put in who are now,
25, 26, yeah.
will we have them all in place? The chairs of all the various committees and vice chairs?
We will do by the time this goes to print, yeah.
Is there space to put that in? I don't know. Is there?
We are introducing newly elected councillors, but that is just faces that are new to the council, not necessarily.
We could squeeze it into that
Council.
page, do you think that?
We could squeeze them.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to raise the issue about retiring the councillors. I don't think
No,
we're not going to put anything in about retiring councillors. I don't think we ever have.
New is good, new is what people need to hear about.
Yeah, their history.
I guess it's also about looking forward, isn't it?
It's
I know it's broad, it's harsh, but they-
politics for you, eh?
I would add to that, trying to take my personal opinion, is that we haven't publicly acknowledged in any way as a town council our long-serving retiring town council. Anyway.
What's half a page
So,
for?
come back to that point, though, Ravina.
Can we possibly acknowledge them on social media rather than through the newsletter? Like do a small little article on them each, the years of service, so on.
That's entirely possible as well, yeah.
I mean, there are, was it four?
Oh,
Four councillors retired, didn't they? I mean, listing them would take a couple of lines, wouldn't it, really? We are grateful to the service, blah, 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 of council.
And I would add, I can't remember who said it, but you're absolutely right, we didn't do that previously when we, I think in the 21, election. The last time we ever acknowledged something was after the passing of Derek Isham, and that we did something in the newsletter then with photographs and everything else.
And also,
So it's new.
I just have to raise that this isn't an agenda item, so we're in that kind of difficult arena as well.
But we're talking about what goes into one of the articles.
But we're not, are we? We're talking about what we're going to put on social media and what we're going to.
Oh, I see.
So I just have to remind people that isn't an agenda item.
But we can discuss what's going to go into these articles, though, so.
Yeah, I wasn't suggesting we could.
Yeah, we can agree to take it out if that's what we want to do.
the message from the mayor could possibly acknowledge the four retired councillors.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. I think that's more appropriate.
Yeah,
Okay, all right, so amend
Be authentic.
the mayor's message, or when you write the mayor's.
I haven't written it yet.
Having written one for the summer newsletter, you could amend that.
No, it's too late.
Oh, right, you can't amend that. All right, so let's agree then. So in the mayor's message goes thanks to the four councillors who
Yeah,
are no longer on.
and that makes a lot more sense as well.
Okay. And somewhere in the page about the list of councillors, where are we?
Towards the bottom of the
New,
first.
so it's just the new councillors and maybe a list, and these are the new chairs of the various committees.
Yes, yeah.
Because that's what people need to know. You know,
Yeah, I
you
think
want to
you're
talk
right.
to blah, you know.
Chair and vice chairs as well. Just space for vice chairs, or just chairs?
But if it's a list of councillors, a position next to the name, there's space for that.
I think.
I'm wondering if we could, because we do list all the councillors, obviously with contact telephone numbers in the newsletter.
But Andy would go down as deputy mayor and he would go down as deputy of TCA. That's going to be quite difficult
Yeah.
to squeeze all that in.
I think one name's probably enough,
Okay,
a committee.
all right, so per committee,
Just the chair.
It's a
that
start,
has
yeah.
been formally
Yeah.
voted.
Okay.
Blah, 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 okay, right. We'll do it. And obviously a short piece about Heather and a short piece about Sunday, but of course a short piece about Ruth. And indeed, two other seconded councils will know about them too well.
Yes.
So that's 5 extra.
It's probably a good job that we don't have the retiring councillors.
Yeah. So a 2-liner about each one in a sense, isn't it? And we welcome, yeah. Something, I don't know, do we want a description or just a name? We want something about them, we haven't usually done something about people.
We have a whole page,
Okay,
so we can go for the little photograph that we have, and then, you know,
a quick
a little
bio,
bio.
okay.
That's
leave those
something
people
we've
to-
done before.
So you have people to put their own bio together,
Yes, yeah, that's what we usually do. We usually ask for a few words.
okay,
There.
with a strict word limit, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
If we could be specific on word count, that will make it easy.
Oh, yeah, we have to be. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so any other comments about the content as proposed? I didn't know Catherine being here 25 years. Wowza. She's okay with this, presumably, is she?
She would probably hate it.
We can't put it in without her consent.
She is aware, isn't she? So she's
She's just very.
she's very modest. Yeah.
I know, I think it's important.
Yes, she is slightly begrudgingly accepting that there is a small amount of fuss that needs to be made about it.
Okay, all right.
For her 20-year anniversary, you'll remember we did something in here
We did.
and presented her with something, and
Is something planned?
so I think we're just going to do a smaller thing because that was less in her comfort zone what we did last time, whereas we felt this was a little bit more public acknowledgement of her service to
very
the
nice.
town and the community, whereas that for the 20 years it was a bit more about us and
But in terms of a cake or something, are we going to
Oh,
do
sure.
something with the members as well as officers and stuff?
well, that's one for probably have to discuss in the office. I don't
Okay.
think she'd want
Alright.
too much.
I think we're more focusing on Catherine's comfort, I think. than-
Okay, that's fine, that's okay,
Yeah.
no, that's fine, that's fine. The last thing I want is for her to talk. Okay, moving on, folks, is that okay?
Yeah,
Okay
who's
with
writing
that?
that? So Catherine's not writing her piece.
I know, I didn't know she would want to write that.
Who is writing it?
I think we'll draw straws. Who's,
Probably have us
yeah,
a collaboration of who's worked with the longest.
Yes,
I would
yeah.
imagine.
yes,
Jodie.
yeah. She's
Started
worked with her for a long
working,
time, yeah.
Jodie was a few years as well.
Jodie is coming up. We talked
I
about.
can look it up.
Hey,
I've done it.
You've done it, and Craig as well.
Yeah.
Craig's coming up for about 18 years.
And Lee must be a parent. Anyway, all right, we
Yeah.
won't discuss all this now, okay, fine, but it's in hand, which is great.
Yeah.
Right, item 10 then, audio newsroom. I think we've already agreed who's going to do this, haven't we? By having somebody swap around, wasn't that the plan?
So, no, so who did the last one?
You did.
I did the last one.
You wanted to
Because
do
it was
a
supposed to be
young
like
one.
experience chat.
Yes.
I was going to propose that we ask Cathy or Chris to do it as our 2 new starters.
Yeah. So we normally do boy, girl, boy, girl. So Adam is down for the Fringe Festival brochure. Adam in our office are in.
Sweet, easy one to do then.
So Hattie is our new laser
Yeah.
coordinator.
And then we could do Chris, who is a new starter next week, as a male voice, and then obviously we can move on. from there.
Okay, all right, really with your hand up.
I know, I can't remember what I was in my hand.
Okay, all right, fine. Okay, so is that agreed then, so
Is
then
that
you want to
okay?
do
Because
this?
obviously we
with-
have new councillors
We
that
have to.
choose. Oh, yes, of course. We have our council.
Then, sorry, we then rotate it with our new councillors, because we will have 5 in total. So after we've done Hattie and, was there someone after Hattie?
Hattie can go whenever. We can put a councillor in first. It's fine.
Heather,
Happy to, but
yeah,
don't want to take someone else's
No.
place.
it's one of our attempts to make our website more accessible in that you basically read out the newsletter. So that
Okay.
anybody wants to hear it, they can.
And people
Well, they always-
listen, they ring in, so people do listen to it.
Yeah, yeah.
It is used.
Yeah, and not just people who've got, blindness or sight difficulties, whatever. People like to listen to podcasts. I don't understand that point, but people do, surprisingly. So it's available to do that. Right, okay. So I'm not worried about Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's not going to come.
because he has got people coming
Yeah.
up. Okay, right, moving on to item 11, the annual social media report. Thank you very much for putting this together, Nina. Most interesting graphs and comparisons. Any comments about this other than it's of interest? I think I've got a couple of comments myself. Any views?
The date's wrong on it as well.
The date to it?
It actually says at the top, Thursday, 6th of June.
Oh, okay,
Today.
all right.
I just say it's interesting, the drop in engagement. I don't quite understand that.
Yeah,
Facebook, Instagram. Oh, apparently X is still popular. People are getting fed up, I suppose, with that. I'm fed up with Facebook.
Yes,
I'm so
it
bored.
goes a little way into explaining it in that
yes.
people are disengaged, people are overwhelmed or bombarded. Algorithms are so much stronger now.
Yes, it's making it a bit
New-
boring.
Yeah, and it does mean that a lot of our stuff, which is not as exciting perhaps as, I don't know, a get ready with me video or a
That's playing the piano.
cat's playing the piano. It's just
you go for that latter one. Anything else.
hilarious cat video. Yeah, probably in that genre too. But so it is hard to compete, and yet we do still get a lot of posts out there.
Yeah.
We do get a lot of responses to our social media posts as well.
Yeah, it's not give up time, is it?
No.
I think we also, oh, sorry, Brina.
Yeah, I was just going to propose, maybe we could get more engagement by making the new mayor do some cringy videos for us.
Thanks.
That's a serious proposal.
And I concur. I mean, I wrote down that engagement, more provocative.
Absolutely.
There was something that actually arouses a response from people.
You could do that, Brian.
Maybe, put out some media posts that sort of, we tried it, with the annual town meeting and got zilch response.
Yes.
So maybe we need to be a bit more challenging. I've got to change person and read them again.
Yes, I'm not sure in the present climate, people actually would like to hear somebody who just sounds sensible.
Okay.
There's a lot of provocative going on out there, and obviously good arguments and discussions, but you'd just like to hear somebody who sounds quite sensible and is getting on with running the town or being part of the town. I thought Frank could very well do that as well. Be provocative if you want to. They just want to hear a good voice, somebody talking about how much we value, great place Buckingham is, and what we're trying to do. That just have somebody sensible. Please.
Okay, yeah, no, take your point. Rubina?
On most social media, sensible comes across as boring and less engagement. And although I agree, we need someone to talk about our town, we could, do simple things about saying how wonderful a certain place is. We could do like going back to the pets theme, how popular the dog show and everything is. Maybe we could get people send in pictures or whatever, or pet cats of Buckingham, dogs of Buckingham. Do a little, little collage of that, just for engagement's sake, because once you get them in, then they'll start looking at the other stuff as well, hopefully.
True.
Whereas if you don't get them in, they're never going to check anything anyway. So it could just be something fun and light-hearted.
I get
without being provocative in
Without
the
being
episodes.
provocative.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rubina. Sorry.
So we do have a current vacancy being advertised, which is our business and community engagement officer, and their role will be about everything that you're talking about and the social media side of it. And don't forget, as part of the town centre regeneration, we do have that TV, the film thing that's going to be done, the short clips that are going to be done, and that's in the process of being done. So it's all stuff in the pipeline. We're just getting to the finish line of it.
Okay.
So, sorry, can I just ask when those short clips and when do you think they'll be coming out?
I can't answer that because I haven't been in management of that, so I can find out and I can get the information out to people, but they're
Yeah,
the guy who's doing it, Helen at Tick's been his main contact. Sam handed it to her. I picked up the ironwork outside
Right.
of here, so it kind of the jobs got split.
right, okay. Yeah, it would be great if it's out like over the summer when,
If I remember rightly, and this is from memory, so hopefully I've got it right. He's doing 3 clips focusing on 3 different parts of society. So
okay,
young people, I can't remember what they all are, but I remember what one of them being young people, and going across. So he's doing 3 little things, film things.
Okay, Rowena?
do we know if we've got any local Buckingham based, quite successful influencer type people? Because having someone like that on your social media profile, suddenly, even if they do one post about Buckingham, it will just suddenly raise the profile on social media, figures.
Well, the only person that I know who is, he doesn't live here now, but he was brought up here, is Peter Slanovich. And he has a large following on social
That's very
media.
political.
Yeah, very political. I was talking about someone younger, like late teens, early 20s, someone who sings and shouts about stuff. Woo, Buckingham type thing.
Well, we've got Adam Wakeman, I mean, he's a resident of the town, son of Rick Wakeman. He was a very skilled, very skilled.
Age, so.
Oh,
Don't say anything like that, don't say anything.
Ish, yeah.
I think if you go down by a few decades, that's the sort of person I'm talking about.
well, I'll see 2 sons if they know it.
Or is that something that needs to come back?
By what?
Is this something?
Pontiac.
Pontiac.
Yeah, we've got
yeah.
a meeting coming up, haven't we?
Do we have?
It's very soon.
You council,
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
yeah.
Alright, so to draw this together, then we're saying we need to find some fresh, younger than us.
Young
younger
voices.
than me, people that might be able to kind of energize and add some.
Yeah, because the town's very big, there's a lot more younger people here, so. If we have someone who does talk about the town or highlight something good about the town.
I mean, videos do seem to get more
Yeah.
purchased these days than texts. I mean, I have to say I'm bored by videos, I don't tend to bother watching.
But you will watch the ones Fran does.
I will.
As then.
So we're looking for some funky items then.
Yeah.
From Fran. Fran, our new funky mayor, doing short clips.
But also with the help from this new person that Zoe's just been talking about, I think
Yeah.
you just need you need to be sitting down. I get Rowena involved as well if I were you as well. But I just think there's a sense of, oh dear, the world's in a tricky place at the moment, and so we want to be pumping out some stuff that says that we're here for you, and
I agree with that too.
we're okay. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a sort of brief that we've given Nina to help coordinate. I'm hoping it's helpful.
No, it is.
Okay.
We haven't mentioned TikTok once.
No.
We're not doing TikTok, I think we solved that at the previous meeting.
I know.
Okay, that's just a step too far.
The mayor's page is
Yeah.
doing all right
Okay, good.
On the one, sorry?
On
Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did wonder whether, given that, all right, there are some downsides with regards to engagement, but by comparison, as you highlighted in the report, we're doing pretty darn well.
Yeah.
Compared to other councils. Is that worth a press release putting out about that?
Or,
You don't think
Is
so?
that a bit of an echo chamber, really?
No?
well, if the press release was just on social media, hey, thanks for liking and subscribing and whatever. else
Yeah,
you
okay.
say.
Now you say that, no, it's not a good idea.
I mean, Fran would have to do it.
Okay, let's leave that behind then. Right, let's go on to Appendix D, which is the item for item 12, the Quality Bronze Award. Now, we asked Martin to look at what the criteria were to get at least a bronze report, because we were concerned that the amount of work involved might be prohibitive. What I think Martin's done is gone through the checklist that is provided by, is it now? Yeah, no, that does this. And then compared to what we have on our website as evidence that would allow us to get the bronze award. So he's put in the various links that are there that comply. There are some gaps, like an accessibility statement, publication scheme, and so on. The question is, what do we do with this? And the question is now whether, given that the town council is not actually now recruit some new people, there will be obviously a time lag while they get their feet on the table. But is this something that we could hand back to the officers to take forward, or is this something that we carry on working on within the committee? I wish Martin was here to answer that question, because we don't know how much work he did to create this. I suspect quite a lot.
It seems to me there's a lot of stuff here that we have got to offer.
We have.
It will need some work by the office, I'm afraid, to turn it from a wish list into that sort of evidence. Whether if he's happy to work with somebody in the office, just to sort of bring it out.
Well, we could ask him, we could pass a motion that we task councillor trying to work with a member of the office staff, teaching for the.
But let's hear from the office as to what they think.
Yeah, what do you think, Nina? So.
Well, and following the agenda, we're here to decide if we want a subsequent request and whether it goes to resources committee. I took some guidance from Claire on this prior. We don't have the staff currently to be able to support this, and we are currently training up new staff. We appreciate that we do a lot of the work, but it isn't about the work we do, it's about then the work that goes into producing the evidence that you have to do the piece of work. And we also don't have any budget set aside to go through this either this year. So is this something that we could put on for the next rotation? When we'll have people in post established.
Oh, yeah.
I myself am still training. Let's be really realistic about this. But that was the suggestion that was made at the last committee also, that do we put it over to the next one?
When you say the next rotation, the next meeting of this group?
No,
next year.
Next year. Because precept has been done. There's been no money into it.
Okay.
I'm going to say, sorry, because I do these things for other organisations. You have to do it maybe in Rotary, some have to do it in the CAB, and there you have to do it in the CAB, or you don't get your accreditation to carry on. Here, if we don't have to do it, it doesn't make any difference. We don't get any more money for it. We don't get any more sort of qualifications for it. And I can see why the office. I like it. What's the point? It's a shame. What is there in it for us in terms of getting? I mean, I like these sort of things, so I'm slightly arguing against my better nature or better thinking. But there's no point in if it doesn't actually make a big difference in terms of money or qualifications or our ability to. It's a bit of a nice to have, and we aren't in the area of nice to have yet. But it would be nice to have.
To use the word that kudos is basically it's what it is. We are a gold or whatever, but there's nothing else that comes attached to that.
I would just remind members that this isn't in our terms and conditions as a subcommittee. It falls within the remit of resources. So whilst you can decide to make a recommendation to resources to look at this further and identify a budget, to add it to another agenda item for CSSC to look at is not really recommended from the office. It's something that we then put forward to resources to look at. And we have said this is long term, something that we are aiming to do within the office. We just can't do it now.
And we are already putting things in place to underpin it as we go, taking steps to get us there.
Okay. Right.
Can we recommend that it goes to resources at a future time when the office is in a position, stability of staff, etc., to actually action it?
Is it going to require precepting in terms of resources to do this?
Well, there's a fee. For any award like this, you have to pay in order to get your badge or your flag or what have you.
Okay.
So,
I think the fee was different per,
yeah.
bronze, silver, and gold had a different fee attached.
so, and it's
Not huge.
It's not huge.
It's not the money, it's
No,
the,
the resource implication of it.
and I think Martin's, sorry.
And would we be needing to preset for the resource implications?
You have for other things similar to this.
Okay, so we need to get it into the cycle, on the budgetary cycle for resources then.
And then I think it helps with identifying self-resources for the year ahead as well.
Right,
Presumably that'll be down to resources to add that to a precepted amount then. So in that case, I think my suggestion would stand.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
well, so the next bit of resources got one then, we get to say we'll be looking at budget twice. Once in the kind of early autumn, then once in the kind of late autumn, then or winter time, as it were. We don't want to miss that boat with regards to, so do we recommend that a short report is produced based upon Martin's work that goes to resources that outlines the resource implications for this, for the council? And we aim to get that on the agenda sometime in September time.
I don't think.
Yeah, so well, no, I think you can make a recommendation to resources to investigate the
Okay, let's do that.
precept, and it's up to
When resources are available to.
Well,
yeah, yeah.
With Martin's report attached? Or leave that?
I don't think it's necessary.
No, you won't. Okay, all right.
I think it's.
Okay.
And
All right,
actually sort of-
so let's make a recommendation that we're asking resources to agree to request a report on the resource implications of going for the local council award scheme bronze next year.
So can I just query why it has to be bronze? I mean, if we're going to put the resources into doing it at all, it doesn't look that much more onerous to go for silver than bronze. I don't know what the financial cost difference is, but assuming you don't have to get bronze before you get silver, rather than put the effort in stage wise, wouldn't it be worth at least looking to see if we could go straight to silver?
So, sorry,
No, go on.
No,
So-
go ahead, it's fine.
So
Okay.
a lot of work has been done already on this, and that Steve, our compliance manager in the office, had gone so far with it, and then obviously we had a lot of staff changes and other things took precedent. We are almost there to qualify for a gold award. So we pretty much meet all of the criteria.
Okay.
There's just a few extra ticks in the boxes,
Okay.
which are, again, takes quite a lot of work to put it all together.
Well, in that case,
Can we make the suggestion without specifying the
Yes.
level of award then?
I
Yes,
think that's the best.
yes. All right, so the resolution is that we're proposing is that we ask resources to agree to request a report on how we can gain an appropriate award level, whatever the words, I can't reinvent them on the spot, but an appropriate award level of the local council award scheme. And that work will begin in April 26. Yeah,
We don't want to be slightly controversial, even though we've established it doesn't represent anything, we don't get any benefit out of it. It's still something we want to achieve.
well, I think that would be for resources to decide.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we think it's good,
Yeah.
because we think it gives.
Martin will be
an
happy with
uplift.
this as well.
Yeah, this will be an uplift to the council, but the resources committee in the end
Oh, yeah.
has to decide.
We're just saying,
Right?
head forward.
I think it is kudos, as you say, but it's also, I mean, in terms of recruitment and retainment of staff, I think it's a really, really positive
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It gives the officers
Agree.
and all the staff some acknowledgement that what they're doing is good, and it's beyond good.
Okay,
Yeah.
we agreed on that? That resolution as sort of vaguely formed,
Yeah.
but I think we've
Yeah.
got enough
So
today.
yeah, so it's a recommendation to resources, and I do believe it's been a while. Recommendations need to be proposed and seconded.
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, I'm proposing,
So
Fran
it's, sorry, it was Fran's
All right,
proposal.
I'm proposing, I'm seconding, I don't mind. I don't pressures of that, end of this. At all.
The vote was unanimous.
The vote was unanimous. Yes, the vote was unanimous. Okay, got it?
I think Martin will be happy with that as well, 'cause it's.
Yeah, it's validating his work.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, right. That concludes, I think, the agenda items on the agenda. Chairs items, I don't think I have any chairs items, do I? No, I don't have any chairs items. Other than to say thank you very much for coming along. Should we record Martin's? I don't, well, no, yes.
No, we can't send any.
No, so.
Yeah,
sorry,
it's that one of those horrible moments that I have sometimes, you think, oh.
He does sometimes. But
Thursday lunchtime, yes.
Just hope it's okay.
Yeah, oh, yes, yes.
We are meeting next on the 7th of July via Zoom. And then on the 4th of September, where I will not be present because I'm running a session on community leadership for BM Calc down in Aylesbury somewhere. So I won't be on the 4th of September, so you'll need to be chairing me.
Okay, I'll put in that.
So that's it. Thank you very much for coming, folks. I will
Thank you.
close the meeting.